What's up, everybody, and welcome to the week. Is this week 11? Is that what it is?
I can't believe it's week 11 already.
Flying by, man.
Crazy.
It's like the season's such a grind, you know?
Good thing we have one extra week. If you think about it, it's really just week 10 in past years. So here we are. Want to just welcome everyone and just say thanks for all the positive comments that you left us, all the positive feedback. It is greatly appreciated. I want to welcome in my guest, Davis Mattek, Peter Overzet, and Dan Gasper. Davis, let's start with you. How are you doing today, bud?
You know, I'm doing all right. I have a little bit of like internal FOMO debate with myself. I know that like 23-year-old me would have driven to Kansas City this weekend for the Cowboys Chiefs Mattek Bowl, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to go, which makes me a little bit sad that I don't have that same get up and go that I did as a child.
Because you're getting old.
I'm getting old, man. Getting old.
This is what happens when you're a homeowner and you're old and everything else. Tuttle is laughing, so I'm just going to go to him right now. Tuttle, something's funny.
I asked my wife to bring me up some coffee. I call her my assistant. I asked my assistant to bring me up some coffee, and she was too scared to get on screen that she's on the side, like spilling it, jiggling it over here, like going like that. And now it's everywhere on my desk.
Lauren does that sometimes too, even in the, I mean, like it's a pretty narrow thing, and we have a pantry closet in here, and she'll be like tiptoeing here. I was like, yeah. Lauren, you're fine. No one's gonna see your hand.
I have it on mute. I asked her to put it way off here, not even close to being on camera.
Yeah, when my wife comes in, she'll be like, am I? She'll like whisper, am I on camera? And then I'll just automatically act like I'm in a meeting, be like, hold on. Yes, what are you? So just a classic. Davis, you'll be there soon, bro. You'll be there soon. All right, Peter, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Dave. I just can't believe it's week 11, man. I mean, time really flies by.
Where does it go? Don't worry, though. We are a first look show. We're going to catch everybody up. I do want to just say, if you've been telling us for this FanDuel GPP/cash game, it's really just like a bankroll builder. That's what we call it. It's a bankroll builder lineup. Once again, I'm in cash with Elijah Moore. Pete, you took Mark Ingram. Was that the play? Is that who you drafted last week, or did you change it?
So as people know, when we kind of get to the end of our FanDuel lineups, we normally have a bit of a choose your own adventure there with that last slot, maybe a 2v2 with defense. And so, yeah I did make a slight pivot there off of your lineup.
Because I didn't remember chalk Mark Ingram being in there when we drafted that lineup, and then you showed that screenshot. And I thought that was interesting.
We did leave it at a 2v2 though, to be fair to Pete.
Well, we each were going to take one player. I just, I
just want to say real quick, on FanDuel to start the season, I legitimately had $4 in my account. I only play the lineup we build on the Swolecast each week. My account's up to $40. I have 10x'd
how rich
my bankroll just with Swolecast alpha plays on Wednesday. With no swaps, no
with
tweets.
Lambo.
Yeah, Gen wealth being created.
The ultimate paperclip story.
That's pretty amazing. All right, well, Peter, let's start with you as far as the Overzet overview and keep it rolling this week. Also, if you haven't already and you want to give us some love, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, because it means a lot to us, right? So, Peter, go ahead and hit with the Overzet overview.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of double stamp that it does mean a lot when you guys like the video. So please do that. Overzet overview of the week. So everything this week is going to build up to this marquee Mattek Bowl. Dallas KC has the highest over under on the slate by a wide margin. I'm seeing it at 56.5 right now. And I would say 3 of the 4 best games are in the late slate, the 4 p.m. games, also Arizona, Seattle, also Cincinnati, Las Vegas, which is looking juicy. And the only other game kind of early that looks like it has shootout potential by the over-under would be Indianapolis-Buffalo. So this is going to be one of those weeks where you take some chances early and then decide if you can eat the Dallas KC chalk or if you're going to have to get more creative with those other games. We have a few injury situations to monitor. And I think running back, similar to last week, is going to be really, really interesting with a ton of options up top on the high end that might go overlooked.
Yeah, that Davis, that Kansas City game, how thrilled were you with that team? Because I did see in the first half, you're like, oh, this still doesn't feel the same as the
it didn't. It really didn't. Like I know they were just going down the field, but they were doing it like 7 yards at a time. When I knew that Mahomes was feeling himself was the touchdown to Pringle, where he's running to the right, throws across his body, Pringle gets up over the defender, and I was like, only Mahomes, who's feeling himself, would make that. Like Mahomes versus Tennessee is not making that throw.
Yeah. Well, who is making that throw versus Tennessee?
Yeah. It's a hard question to answer.
Are they back then? Like,
I mean, what I want is just for the defensive coordinators in this game to call a truce on the cover two. Just no cover two, not allowed.
No.
Just literally anything.
Cover two Twitter got to you, Davis? You're not part of this?
I'm tongue
in
new
cheek
funnel
here.
defense.
Pete just ruined my bit. I was leaning into film Twitter, and Pete just ruined the bit.
It feels a little like a Deontay Johnson situation again, where you got called out for it, and then it automatically was a bit.
No, I've been doing Cowboys stats. I don't know if people follow him, but he's been doing this bit all week where he's just saying that he was the one who came up with the idea of an armistice agreement between the Chiefs and the Cowboys on calling cover two on defense, which I thought was a good bit.
Speaking of bits, I don't know if you guys got this as much as I did last week, but the wide receiver cornerback matchup stuff with
Is it back?
Lattimore on, dude, it was even our ship chasers, the GPP bros, everyone was talking about Lattimore. Thank God Dwayne McFarland posted that tweet where he had AJ Brown was open on most of his routes and Tannehill just wasn't throwing to him.
Who did Lattimore cover last week?
Who knows?
I literally I don't know. We need people because I feel like we honestly have kind of shamed people because every time.
Oh no, not this show.
I mean, every time Mike Clay or Ian Haritz post their thing, I always just respond, "Aren't you worried?" And so I feel that I mean, obviously Ian and Mike are going to do their things, but I feel like in general, fantasy Twitter has kind of been shamed from the wide receiver cornerback stuff.
And I will say that this is a first look show. You know, this is one of the most
it's really the only one in the industry.
Right. No one else is really doing this kind of first look in-depth take that we have here on the Swolecast. And so when we were talking about AJ Brown, we did not know until Friday that Tannehill had a little bit of a stomach bug, but he said that everything's fine now. I apologize though for not getting in front of the boots on the ground take.
Wait, so your take is he underperformed because of Tannehill's stomach bug?
Because he had Chipotle.
I mean, Tanny just wasn't the same old Tanny. So, also AJ Brown's dropped a few passes this season.
Don't throw.
There's no Marcus Johnson.
Uncharacteristic. Marcus Johnson was fun.
He's huge, man. I forget how big he is. He's a big guy.
He's big. So we're at Cal's mansion on Sunday.
You made it to the sports book?
Well, thanks to the Swolecast, he saw that I invited myself over. So
wait, did I get you an invite by saying
100%? You got me the invite. So Taylor Ezel had mentioned Marcus Johnson. Ezel MTs. He's a local guy, but he also plays in a bunch of high stakes stuff. He had mentioned Marcus Johnson the week before, and then last week put him in one lineup just as an ode to Cal. And he hit, but this week he's like the buzzword for free agent pickups, and even this week, no Westbrook kind, Davis.
Oh, he's banged up.
All that matters is Julio Jones to Marcus Johnson, boys. Boots on the ground should know that. Yeah,
I mean, my take is that Marcus Johnson is a fifth-year undrafted free agent who got cut by the Eagles and the Colts, so he probably is not going to be a jam for me. Rather play Pringle.
Ooh, tough scene. All right, Tuttle. Who are some of the top stacks you like this week?
So Pete mentioned all the high totals. One of the ones that was not mentioned that I actually kind of like, and I've been staying away from Green Bay mostly this season.
Yeah.
But Green Bay, Minnesota. I think this is a good spot. I really do. We got AJ Dillon. We can play in that game at a. It's not too increased of a price point, but it's like I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that he wasn't 4,500 on FanDuel somehow, and like 5K on DraftKings.
It's like enough that he's not going to be Dearness Johnson level ownership.
By the way, we did get some love for the call last week. Lots of people told us
we were the only ones.
We
were the only
no one was talking about Dearness.
I was looking at the ownership percentage, and I think 70% of the people in my contest watched the Swolecast.
Made the worst secrets out. After 7 years, secret is out. So yeah, AJ Dillon this week could be another guy that pops off for sure.
Yeah, but that game in general too.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson is going to be like 3% owned on DraftKings because he's $100 less than Tyreek and $300 less than Devontae.
He's such an alpha too.
Such an alpha.
Right,
Thielen could never.
You just play the Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson lineups this week, just pure alpha. Don't give a shit about pricing.
No correlation
either.
Pricing,
who cares about matchup?
Yeah, just play the best plays.
Stuff.
All right, let's go to quarterbacks now. I will say that at Cal's place, whenever everyone was watching at the sports book and Cam scored that first touchdown, and we were just waiting. And as soon as he said, I'm back, that was such a great moment. And I want to take that moment and ride it this week. Yay or nay on Cam this week, Davis? Your boy. Are you back on that train?
I mean, he is the best points per dollar quarterback this week, but I feel like you're just giving up so much ceiling at quarterback because of the Kansas City Dallas game and Lamar. I mean, we're like, we always look for these spots where you can get Lamar at like 4%. How much of the quarterback ownership is going to be sucked up by Kansas City Dallas? Like at 25% minimum, probably even more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, more.
And then I assume right after that, it'll be Allen will be the third most popular.
Always 10% or so on Allen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are in on Cam and Cash then. Is that what you're saying?
I don't actually think the way it's going to shake out this week that you'll need to play him because I'm pretty sure we're going to get Ingram too. And we should know, honestly, probably today if Kamara does not come back to practice today. So he would have had 11 days off if he doesn't practice today. So I'm thinking we probably get Ingram again. And obviously we have AJ Dillon. And it just seems like there's enough clear value that you'll probably just play Dak and Cash.
Can I just say I'm really upset at myself for not realizing Cam and Cash was going to be Dave's bet.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Flacco and Cash.
I was just going to say Flacco and Cash is way more Dave's bet.
Only 500, a little bit lower. And really, I wanted to go to Davis to see like how much of a boomer Davis has turned into. Because like Davis in 2018, 2017 would have 100% recommended Cam. Now I feel like after the celebrations and everything that Cam did in the end zone, he's penalizing him.
That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good moment. That was like a pretty.
That was awesome.
Moment. Yeah,
I've been anti-Cam for a while now in terms of skill and talent level, but that was awesome.
Well, the sneaky thing about Cam is that he's actually a boomer. Like Cam is a dork. Like everything he says is, I'm like, you are not cool. But that was like a cool moment.
Wait,
I can't believe you haven't adopted his writing style yet.
Yeah, like he's a dork, dude.
Go ahead, Peter.
No, I was gonna say, Davis, did you have the tweet about how no one looks cooler than Cam Newton?
No, on the football field, like the combination of the visor and the dreads and the number one, like that is. But the second he starts talking, you're like, come on, dude. Like, what are we? I guess
that's kind of like Brady too, right? Where you see he looks like this model that could just be all suave and stuff, and then you hear him start talking. He's just such a dork.
I mean, after that loss to the Washington football team, we got some pouty Brady. Like, yeah, I think I saw he only did like a minute and 30 seconds of press conference after that loss because he was so tilted. Can't be a baby.
Peter, any other quarterback takes for you?
Have we mentioned Burrow yet?
Nope.
Because I think that game is going to be pretty nice for fantasy. I mean, T. Higgins is going to be one of the most popular plays on the slate again, way too cheap. So, but I think we mentioned Jamar Chase probably going overlooked a bit, maybe up in that range if people are playing Adams and Hill at a high rate. So I think that those double stacks with Burrow look good. And then you have some decent options coming back. I mean, we might be to the point where everyone's so burned on Darren Waller that they just can't click it anymore.
How about a 90% snap share minimum price Zay Jones?
Now we're talking.
I mean,
running routes out there.
He's Chris Hogan. He's Mr. Win Sprint. But I mean, I think probably the most interesting leverage quarterback, given that we just talked this far and didn't get to him, is going to be Jalen Hurts against New Orleans. He's this actually might be a competitive spot where he might get above 17 passing attempts. So that would probably be pretty good for his ceiling. And then, I mean, he could run for 3 rushing touchdowns in any game. Like he very, very similar to Cam.
I think you just worry. I mean, New Orleans is on a historic rate for their rush rate. And now Philadelphia is so run heavy. It just, the play volume in that game could be really poor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect it to be a good fantasy game at all. I think you could run, I think you could do your, your Bengals Raiders, Waller, Jamar, T, and then just play Hurts
naked
yeah.
Hurts. Yeah.
Naked.
How haven't we gotten a Tua tout yet?
Yeah.
Just you don't want to do the bringbacks, and Gesicki is terribly priced, and Parker's not back, and Fuller's still out. So it's just like, you're hoping for a 17 reception game from Jalen Waddle because they're never going to throw him deep passes. I guess they threw him one deep one last week.
So one thing that I think is like low key overlooked a little bit, and obviously people just keep picking on the Jets because they're just absolutely terrible, but they don't raise the white flag on offense either. They'll keep dropping back on offense. They'll keep running at a pretty quick pace, and it really pushes up play volume in general. We saw it last week with the Bills. I can't believe Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs were in as late as they were. But yeah,
the Bills love to do that. The Bills love to run up the score,
and they haven't been able to in a long time.
The thing that would make you could actually play Jets bringbacks if they would just play 3 guys, but they're rotating through 6 wide receivers in every game. Like if they would just play Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and one other guy, whether it be Cole or Berrios or Mims, then you could actually play those guys. But all the wide receivers are playing like 60% snap shares.
Yeah, and then they just gave Tevin Coleman some run too, so you can't really do the Michael Carter thing.
Yeah.
It does feel though like whoever wins the Millie Maker, it's going to be some game stack with Jets Dolphins. Like it just feels exactly like that game.
Yeah. Just no defense played. Yeah.
Let's open up DraftKings.com and make ourselves a little lineup.
I'd love that, Dave.
DraftKings.com, NFL DFS. Who's going first?
Oh, baby. We have a good tournament this week.
What is it, Pete?
It's the 10K MVP challenge presented by Visa.
Oh.
They own a CryptoPunk.
Yeah, they're giving it out on this one.
Noted crypto.
I like it. That's how we know. The first thing we associate Visa with now is a CryptoPunk.
What about the Crypto.com arena, formerly known as Staples?
People are mad, dude.
Center.
People are so mad.
It just rolls off the tongue.
It's also like people getting so mad. It's like Staples is like the corniest brand name ever. I mean, but I guess people find it synonymous, or it's like now transcended being associated to office supply
they don't
company.
Realize
but
it's not Dunder Mifflin's rival. It's like somehow totally separate.
It's the Kobe era is what everyone relates it to.
Well, I was so shook last night. We were doing Club Top Shot, and I found out that it's not even called the Pepsi Center anymore. It's called Ball Arena. I missed that news.
Yeah, and the Rose Garden is called the Moda Center. The Arrowhead is apparently called something different now too, which I didn't even realize.
But no one even like Pepsi Center wasn't an iconic name, so probably people just move on. But Arrowhead is like an iconic name. Like no one's never not gonna call it Arrowhead.
Never. Yeah.
All right. Good talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting us to go that deep in on. I thought we were going to go more crypto related than anything, but
Well, we've been told that we aren't
people-
allowed to go crypto related.
Dan signs off the second someone mentions the smiles verse. Dan is just out. He's done.
Oh, I actually had a question I wanted to ask you guys before the show. It might be a little too sensitive for on air. I was curious about how Meebits are doing. I saw some tweets out there about it.
Oh, people are big mad about the.
I was
Meebits.
actually I'm legit curious. I assume they just have dumped massively in price, but I didn't know if there was anything else more to it or what.
Let me just tell you.
Don't say
we are
Mooncast,
learning
Dave.
some life lessons out here with every new athlete or celebrity that gets their board ape. We are learning some lessons.
Kitchen did Post Malone buy your board ape or like what's
no,
the
I saw, but I think I told y'all that I saw someone's like just got my first board ape, and I couldn't see what the price was. I'm pretty sure it was around 60 ETH though. It was for that. It was my original profile picture.
Oh my god.
Cyborg.
No. No.
And that's just one of them. Like that's just one of them.
Oh
But
god.
Dave, you are honestly, I've given you a lot of crap, but you are a much stronger person than I am, because if what had happened to you happened to me and I didn't save at least one, I would just be done online forever. I would be living in a cabin in Idaho.
No, like it helps that I had some wins that were pretty good. Nowhere near that.
And obviously the Mooncats are going to flip punks too at some point.
Sure. Yeah, I'm still very bullish on Mooncats.
We know.
Okay. No,
But
too far.
I will say
No.
there's no
DraftKings
winning
lineup.
and losing. It's winning and learning. And I just refer to that as a learning experience. So
Sounds like
good.
somebody who missed out on 60 ETH to me.
We're
Also,
laughing. That's a good
I want to see
step.
Kitchen. I want to see Kitchen become like our generation's Mr. Rogers for crypto, where he's like, "There's no losing."
That would be a good role. That would be a good role for Dave. I think he'd excel.
Sorry, guys. Too busy in my new corporate role. All right. Peter, you start us off.
Yeah, let's do you know what? I talk about how everyone, comes in here and they fire off like 4 guys in their lineup. I'm very selfless. But no, I am going to do a stack. I'm going to do Burrow to Chase.
I love it.
I'm going to indulge a little bit.
All right.
Burrow to Chase. All right. Davis, you interested in a bring back?
Nope. I'm going to take DK Metcalf.
Oh.
Getting ahead of the late swap.
Aren't you afraid?
No, Arizona doesn't have any good corners, do they? They can't.
Do they? You sounded
no,
so
Patrick Peterson's
convinced.
out of there, so you don't have to
Patrick
worry about
Peterson
it.
is on. I learned this the other day because he was out.
See if you can get it right.
He's on the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, I learned that because he was out and the announcers were acting like it was a big deal.
I do remember when that was the thing. Last year you can't play DK Metcalf against Arizona.
And he
Tyler
just
Lockett.
skinned him, like flayed him alive. What can you do?
Okay.
Tuttle.
Let's go Waller, even though he's been completely disappointing.
All right, we're getting tight on salary cap here.
Pretty pricey.
Kitchen will save us some money with Marcus Johnson shock. We can count on that.
No.
Yeah.
Man, we got to go running backs, but even the good running backs are still kind of pricey. All right, let's go let's go Galaxy Brain. Let's go Nyheim Hines against Buffalo.
Wow.
This feels pretty bad.
This feels awful, but I gotta love it.
It's 4,300. Everyone's gonna be going Aaron Jones.
Aaron-
Oh God! Somebody tell him.
AJ
I
Dillon. That's what I
think he
meant.
meant
AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon, Swift, Connor. These guys.
Hey, it's a first look show, guys. I
It's
mean,
a
we haven't
first
gotten the injury report yet.
It's Sosa's fault. He didn't get the show notes this week.
Yeah, where the show notes. He's just shaking his head. Even
Everyone's going to be
embarrassed
playing
right now.
Aaron Jones. Everyone's going to be playing Alvin Kamara. Derrick Henry's going to be in there.
Oh man.
All right. But anyways, we're going a little bit of just game script theory. And as we've seen with some of these showdown lineups, sometimes the backup is the key, is the ultimate key. So
It's not as bad of a play as we made it out. It isn't.
the saying Aaron Jones instead of AJ Dillon.
Yeah, that was the fun part.
Bad. Okay, let's go. It is Pete's turn again.
Yeah, so we do need to save some money.
Yeah, I tried.
Let's put Gallup in.
Tuttle's terrible take of the week last week.
My terrible take is that Pringle is the better play than Gallup this week.
We can play both.
Just playing both. Get that secondary stack.
So if we play Pringle, well, I'm gonna make my selection, and I am going to play Miles. He died for our Gaskins. It's not great.
We keep on waiting for Myles Gaskin to happen, and
I mean, I do think it's going to happen.
He is happening. He just he's been horribly inefficient, but the Jets should
get like
help
2 yards per carry. Like, I mean, it's tough scenes for him out there. All right, so if we go cheap defense,
give us a defense, Dave. The defensive whisperer.
I mean, I kind of just want to go Lions against Cleveland just to see what we can have and then go up from there.
That would give us $7K for a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
For flex, right?
Or Swift. Or Swift. We can do Lions Swift correlation.
Aaron Jones doubtful.
3 running back lineup.
I love how Pete is such a GPP bro that he just referred to the flex position as a wide receiver spot.
It was like default. Like there's no other option.
I think last week was the first week where I've run out a single 3 running back lineup.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did the same thing last week after treating it like a wide receiver spot for most of the year.
All right.
Okay. I venture to say this is going to be a little bit different than most people's lineups. So if you do play this lineup, you definitely listened to the
it's the fact that our FanDuel lineups have been such a print is just an example of how much harder it is to play on DraftKings than it is on FanDuel.
Yeah, and Davis, you still refuse to play on FanDuel, which is what is amazing.
I actually played on FanDuel last week, but I just didn't have any good teams.
I mean, because our team, we had a 2 from AJ Brown, and also Hawkinson got.
Well, I also play on FanDuel every week with Goulet, so I get my exposure that way.
Goulet, okay. All right, let's talk about running backs. Obviously, in normal construction, you're not going to be paying $6,100 for a tight end in most lineup construction. So let's focus on the running back and the high price running backs. Davis, are you worried about Christian McCaffrey?
I'm not worried about Christian McCaffrey. The passing game usage was what you expected, but the combination of them probably not wanting to give him his formerly gargantuan snap share and Cam at the goal line does make his the role goes from being unquestioned the best role in fantasy football to the best role, but more like he's got a lot less touchdown ceiling, I think. And I think his 100-yard rushing bonus equity goes down a little bit with them giving Hubbard and Abdullah touches. But obviously he's still going to be targeted a ton. He's still the best running back in fantasy and will probably be under-owned this week.
I was about to ask, how owned do you think he was going to be?
Probably about the same as last week, probably about 8 to 12%, depending on the contest. And if we get Ingram and we have Dillon and we have Myles Gaskin, and if Eli Mitchell doesn't play, by the way, and Jeff Wilson Jr. becomes chalk, it's going to be basically the exact same thing that happened last week.
How about Darrell Williams too? If CH,
which seems like it's going to happen. Andy Reid just said they could maybe save him for after the bye, which would be week 13.
Yeah. So 2019 CMAC has 50 points last week.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely Cam Newton is not stealing that rushing touchdown in 2019.
But CMC also ran really bad around. He stepped out twice. I don't even he could have had 45 with the Cam.
And he was 5 yards short of the receiving bonus. Yeah. I mean, he did run bad.
All right. Let's talk about some of these obvious plays. Swift, Dillon, Connor. Who you fading, Peter?
I mean, my guess is that Connor and AJ Dillon soak up the majority of it there. And even though, Swift's coming off 33 carry game, I bet he is the guy that probably gets squeezed in that range because Connor and AJ Dillon, I think, are just going to project so well.
Are people off Connor after how terrible the Cardinals were last week?
I feel like if Kyler plays, people will be pretty willing to go right back to him.
He was back at practice today too. First time he's practiced in 2 weeks.
The old game, DFS 4 years ago, people wouldn't have played Connor this week. And this year, Kyler will be back and everyone will just jam him.
Yeah.
And Jamal Williams matters for Swift, obviously, too.
Yeah.
Which we don't currently know.
And Jamar Jefferson.
And whatever the other dude's name is.
Godwin,
Izubuki.
Yeah.
Well, you say look who ran bad last week when we're talking about McCaffrey, and then you look at the touch distribution with Swift, and you got these two randos that combined for like 5 carries.
Yeah, 41-yard touchdown from Godwin, 29-yard touchdown from Jamar Jefferson on like 9 snaps.
And with each one, again, and not to brag about being invited to Cal's Sportsbook, but with everyone, you're kind of like looking like, is that Swift? And it wasn't.
Has anyone done put Godwin Igwabuki's face on that Christ the Redeemer Brazilian statue to troll Levitan and say he's the real Godwin yet? Has anyone done that?
No. I think that's good material for the ship chasing account. I think.
Thank you,
Peter thing. I will not be fading AJ Dillon no matter what. Especially after just learning that Aaron Jones is going to be out. No,
you just mushed him.
The mush is in.
No, I'm totally with Dave. This is an Alexander Madison with Dalvin Cook level play. He just is. He is going to be. This one's for Tuttle. This is like Braylon Allen with Ches Malusi out for the season level play.
Aren't you worried about? Oh, I didn't even know who the backup is. I didn't know Kylan Hill was on IR.
What did you just say?
Worried about Kylan Hill.
That's Tuttle's Wisconsin Badgers. They have a 17-year-old
kid. Yeah.
They have a 17-year-old who's like the biggest human being alive and just had 200 yards and 3 touchdowns on Saturday.
I'll be honest. I knew the name and I knew the reference, but I do not watch Badger football. It's unbearable. It's bad.
Speaking of freak athletes, you know who I went down the rabbit hole learning about the other night? Chet Holmgren, the Gonzaga dude. Have you guys seen him?
No.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's like 6'11" and weighs like 145. He's just like the skinniest dude. And he's like projected to be a top 2 pick. Yeah, and he is just he's pretty filthy to watch.
Is he the new Hasheem Thabit?
I mean,
do you guys remember that video that when he scored on Steph, like he schooled Steph?
Is Steph the guy with the bored ape?
Yeah, he's the guy.
I think he's got something called the Thick Girls in his wallet.
So anyways, he was like this scrawny kid in 9th grade or 10th grade and scored on Steph and kind of blew up. Peter Jennings probably tweeted about him a few times. I get if we search his account, he probably just tweeted about him. That used to be Peter's thing, is to tweet about high school athletes. Like he was big time into Manute Bowl.
Yes.
Or Bowl. Not
Bowl.
Yeah. I actually was thrown on to Chet Holmgren last season on TikTok. He was a TikTok.
I could see that. Yeah,
I can see that too. All right.
You heard it here first, guys. Chet Holmgren.
Other running backs that people aren't looking at. Tuttle.
Other people aren't looking at. If we actually had good boots on the ground information from David with the Tennessee situation.
I don't want to say it. But Donta Foreman is that dude. I mean, he's clearly, if you watch the tape.
I mean, they're literally in a stone cold 30%, 30%, like Baltimore Ravens puke share.
See, that's the issue, is that they know Foreman's better than Peterson, and
but they
Peterson
signed him.
Just gets the veteran respect carries here.
Like it feels like if Peterson was like, you know what, I actually like, he got to practice and was like, you know what, I actually don't want to do this anymore. If Adrian Peterson was not millions of dollars in debt to his creditors, I think that Donta Foreman would be getting like 18 carries a game and smashing.
Yeah. Like Donta Foreman's not going to be the guy that gets like 3 touchdowns. Like they'll give one of those touchdowns to AP.
Veteran respect touchdown, like Odell Beckham on Monday night.
But his price tag is really low, and it's clear that he is the best back.
It's not really low though. I mean, if he was stone min 4,000, or if he's 6,200 on FanDuel,
isn't he 4,600?
49 on DK.
49.
And he's 62. He's 6,200 on FanDuel. Like if he had been 5,200 on FanDuel, I could say 60 rushing yards and a touchdown, maybe. But it's too efficient.
So there is a guy that everybody hates that's not going to be owned. That's actually probably a pretty good play.
Zeke?
No, he'll be owned. David Montgomery.
Yeah. Our stuff loves him, has him as the number 5 value at running back this week.
People still hate playing him. He played so much more than I thought. Herbert was going to earned himself some snaps. He
did not.
Oh.
I mean, how have we not talked about the guy that they're mentioning first on the Establish the Run show, which is Nick Chubb? I mean, Silva is literally salivating to talk about Nick Chubb versus the Detroit Lions here. Like he's just like, he woke up on Tuesday morning just like ready to rock on Nick Chubb week.
We should have.
I can't get Chubb right. I can't get him right.
He's just got to rip off a 70-yard touchdown, which feels like he'll probably do against the Lions.
If we're going to name every running back too,
Dalvin,
I was going to say Joe Mixon. No one's going to want to play him.
There are so many there are legit so many running back plays after you get past the few obvious ones. Like it feels like some of them are going to go way under owned.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, you look at it, other than AJ Dillon from an ownership perspective, I don't think there's going to be a ton that really pop.
Ingram. If Kamara doesn't play, Ingram will be stone chalk. And same for Jeff Wilson Jr. if Eli Mitchell doesn't play.
Yeah, so barring injury situations.
But I don't think
like Peter who will not play 3 running backs. They just won't.
They will this week. For sure.
Oh, we will this week, Kitchen.
Peter, is that true?
I mean, if CH doesn't play, isn't Daryl like the best way to just be like, you know what? I hope all you Chiefs Cowboys stackers suffocate on your chalk and you just get your 29 burger from Daryl.
I mean, Daryl, that catch he had last week. I mean,
Daryl Moss, in my opinion, right?
He's a lock if CH is pushed back a week.
So many locks this week and not enough doors.
Oh God,
Jesus!
Not enough keys would be the better.
All right, the Mr. Rogers of DFS and crypto's off to a great start.
Speaking of keys, go ahead and get your key to BetMGM this week, where $10 on your favorite team can net you $200 if you just use the code GRINDERSBET. That's all you have to do is use the code GRINDERSBET. So, and speaking of betting, did we shout out Grant Niefer last week? I don't think we did. But fellow won $250,000 in the DraftKings Sports Betting Championship. He's in 3rd place. And he's crushing it with the bets. He put in a Tuttle. Are you following him at all on the scores and odds front?
No.
You should. Or you're not. It's not legal there. You got to drive to place bets.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No. Yes. No.
He's been crushing the prop bets since baseball season, and he put in a big one today. I'm riding.
A big one.
Tell us.
Oh, he's got a big one today. It would be a shame if that was leaked.
Tell us,
Don't
Dave.
say it. Don't say it.
All right, let's go to scores and odds.
If you're a Dallas Mavs fan,
picks.
If you're a Dallas Mavs fan, you might like it.
Kristaps over 2.5 3-pointers made.
No, that's not it. It's another one. Anyways, all right. Don't leak the alpha. Do not leak the alpha. Okay, if you do leak the alpha, we got to take it out if he does. So okay, let's move on to wide receiver. And Davis, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, Tyreek and Devontae and Cooper, Pringle, Gallup, Lamb. I mean, the cumulative ownership of Pringle and Tyreek and the 3 Dallas wide receivers is what, Pete? Do we think just 50, 60, 70?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't feel like the rest of the industry is as excited about Pringle as you are.
Dude, it finally happened. He finally flipped in the same game. He finally flipped Hardman and Robinson. Before, it's either been he outsnapped one of them, but he finally outsnapped both of them in a game.
Haven't we seen that flip-flop a bunch?
I
know,
think
No,
I think
not like this, really.
I think traffic cone D-Rob is done. I think that even Josh Gordon ran more routes than D-Rob against the Raiders. Like I think the D-Rob thing is done.
The biggest thing was the Mecole trended down. Pringle's kind of been trending up. Robinson's been out of the rotate. Well, not completely out. I'm actually hoping Davis stops pushing this so hard because yes, Pringle is
buddy, no one cares. No one listened to me about Gallup last week, and no one's gonna listen to me about Pringle this week. Gallup, by the way, was about 4 yards away from just totally breaking the slate last week.
I was wrong on Gallup's ownership too. I thought he was going to be way more popular.
He was like
10, right?
Yeah,
10.
he was the obvious double stack with Dak, and Dak came in way less than I thought and everything.
Yeah, he was like 18-ish.
So when is
Once
Josh
Pringle-
Gordon just not going to get snaps? Because that could also happen.
I think it's more likely at this point that D-Rob gets X'd out. Like I think because Gordon is a gigantic person. Apparently he spent his
He's
time
fat
on the
and
couch.
does nothing though.
He run blocks. He run blocks. That's what I really think that's why he's getting all these snaps is because he's just a gigantic man now.
His run block grades aren't even good if you look on PFF.
I mean,
Oh boy, we
Aren't
are
you
getting
afraid?
really
that's
dirty
maybe
with run
that's
block rates.
I think that's probably
here.
too far in the weeds for this
I don't
show.
think we've ever mentioned run
here's
block
the thing.
rates on this show.
Okay, like I'll play Josh Gordon. I've played Josh Gordon in Showdown the last few times they've been on Showdown just because he's $200.
And they never target him.
No, and you know how you do the thing, like trying to figure out which guys are lined up on the field. And you just look for the most athletic, big, fattest dude out there that's out wide, and that's Josh Gordon.
Well,
he's not fast enough to get any separation. He's not getting thrown any ball. Like he gets squeezed eventually, I would think.
The haters have finally got to Andy Reid, and they're just playing 12 personnel a bunch now too. 32% and 40% snap share for Blake Bell the last 2 weeks, and then Noah Gray up to a 33% snap share. Like they're playing like they are I can't even think of a boomer, the Patriots.
And Blake
Mahomes had the Noah Gray
too.
anytime touchdown bet last week too. He was like trying to force him the ball for the touchdown.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Blitz projections from Cardi. He still has McCall Hardman above Pringle.
Well,
so
check
NGMI.
Yeah, check on Saturday morning.
Are you saying once Pringle pops that you can't stop?
No, I just like, look, man, no one wanted Hardman to happen more than me, but he just cannot play football. He just really can't. He's really not good.
All right, let's talk about
Dave really thought he was the first person to make the Pringle pop joke.
No, I just love how you did not even go. Like you did not even.
I'm absolutely not giving you that. Okay, we could probably talk about some other wide receivers now. We just spent 7 minutes on those guys.
Yeah, Rondell Moore, go.
Oh God,
just kidding. Let's go with any other cheapy receivers. Like I'm not going to talk about Marcus Johnson, but if someone wants to talk about him at 3.5K, you can.
I mean. He's the best points per dollar play down there. The only other guy I would say intrigues me, and I know it's gross. Tuttle was already saying how much he likes that game. MVS at 3,700. His price stayed the same. He had what he always has, which is unrealized air yards. So if we can just get that lightning in a bottle once, I think he looks fine down there.
Okay. Let's go with
You want ugly, terrible takes here? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I want like maybe even a take on San Francisco wide receivers against Jacksonville this week.
There's just going to be no need for them to throw the ball, so you just hope that Deebo Samuel rushes the ball 5 more times and houses a 40-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and continues to score about 9 fantasy points per target. Seems pretty sustainable.
19 pass attempts just feels gross. All right. Other wide receivers that you like this week, Peter?
Yeah, we mentioned Jefferson. I don't think anyone's going to play him. I also think CeeDee Lamb might end up being a little sneaky.
Yes.
Just at his price at 7,600. I mean, there's so many other guys around him that project better. And no one needs me to sell them on CeeDee Lamb in the highest over-under game of the week.
No, they do, Peter, because everyone's going to click Tyreek and Amari. So sell them on CeeDee Lamb.
Well, I
don't know if you guys saw, but his slot rate went up with Michael Gallup back in the lineup. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Oh, I didn't.
That was what everyone was
Definitely not
projecting,
playing
right?
Dalton Schultz.
Gallup,
No more Schultz.
but I'm the Dalton Schultz truthers. I can't. I traded Dalton Schultz in a second for AJ Dillon in a dynasty league, and people were like, "You just gave up the asset of a lifetime," and I'm like, "Dude, he's Dalton Schultz. Like, let's calm down." So I'm triggered.
Yeah, I mean, my one concern for CeeDee Lamb is just that kind of cover two from KC.
CeeDee Lamb against Daniel Sorensen would be like me trying to stop Kevin Durant from getting a bucket. Like it's gonna be like there will be at least one time Sorensen's on an island against Lamb, and he was just gonna embarrass him.
Yeah. Also, I mean, every single week, like Debo's never over 10%. I mean, it's nuts.
Who's gonna do the unrealized air yards thing with T? Who wants to do it?
I mean, they got to price him up.
Say the line. Say the line, Pete. Say the line.
I don't even know what line you want me to say right now.
It's like he's actually got more targets per game than Jamar Chase, which is true.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm not on fantasy Twitter as much as I used to be. I miss all the tropes now.
I mean, it's really just been every week on the Gilcast because I think we played him in cash for the last 5 Bengals games, and he just is between 10 and 17 points every week.
Yeah. But we did get, I mean, as we saw last week, you keep saying things enough times with the Patriots. Like, I didn't have any Jacoby, but I was still happy that he scored just so that we could stop.
Well, Tuttle called it.
Having to talk about it.
Kobe, baby. I said he was
All
going
right.
to score a touchdown.
Guys, allow me to get inside the mind of a game log surfer. This player is 3,300. He scored last week. And when he scored, everyone in the room just said, I had no clue he was on the Washington football team.
DeAndre Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the second week in a row he scored. So
he's 3,300.
I play Zay Jones over him.
And Nico Collins over him.
Sounds like you were hanging out with millionaires who don't have to be bothered with depth charts.
people who don't have to spend their Monday night
down at us peasants.
Yeah, they don't have to make sure that Robbie Gold's player ID is correct in the back end.
Drew Dinkmeyer is among the elite these days. So.
Oh yeah, I was hanging out with Logie in Dink.
We did. We went to the 404 kitchen and got smoked fried chicken on Thursday, then hung out on Sunday. So we had a
nice
good time. Yeah,
very nice.
Thanks for the invite.
Okay, if Cole Beasley does not play, does anyone want to tout like a 30% target share for Diggs?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gabriel Davis.
Yeah, I thought this was going Gabe Davis
going
too.
Gabe the Babe too.
Gabe Dave. I mean, he got a busted coverage long play last week, but I don't know. Gabe Davis might not be happening.
People gave up on Diggs, and they probably weren't wrong. But
Leone probably got rich last week.
Yeah, I was surprised. You basically, that's all you needed was the 2 cheapies and Diggs to cash anything last week, which was nice.
You guys heard that Rashad Bateman has flipped Marquise Brown? That's a dominant narrative on fantasy Twitter right now, despite the fact that Hollywood Brown is 6th in PPR scoring this year.
Yes,
I missed that one.
13 targets last game.
Yeah.
Bateman's good though.
I actually think Bateman is going to be kind of popular this week because he's a pivot off of Gallup and Pringle.
Okay, so question: Which Philadelphia receiver has to be afraid of Marshawn Lattimore?
Rager probably.
All right, cue up Quez Watkins, baby.
Because they move. Devonta doesn't just play one position. He moves all over. I don't know. Does Lattimore go in the slot?
It looks like Quez was slated as the slot receiver last week.
Imagine asking the three of us.
It's like
Lattimore's gonna go.
I have to remind myself of what team Lattimore plays for when people bring him up.
I have a hand in the dirt take here.
Okay.
Lattimore's too much mass. Yeah, he doesn't match up well with these receivers from Philadelphia.
I mean, that was like one of the big things when wide receiver cornerback matchup stuff first came out, was that little guys that like Tyreek is like a nightmare for the people that do that because he's a terrible matchup for all the like 6'2" stocky corners.
Yeah. Quez Watkins week, I think.
We talked about Cam, obviously at quarterback. Who do you pair him with if you play a wide receiver?
You don't.
No, you. I think that DJ Moore's role in the offense, it should be the same. It's just a matter of if, like, the problem is the Panthers will probably just run so much. Like they're going to be like they're going to be like a 49ers style team in terms of running. And I don't know, DJ Moore, such a disappointing year after the hot start.
Mm-hmm. But he's under 6K on DraftKings.
Yeah, he's a good play.
5.9. So, all right. Anybody gonna go overlooked? These high price guys gonna go overlooked. About
Jefferson,
Devontae, Justin Jefferson.
Devontae's not going overlooked.
Okay.
Will AJ Brown after his dud?
Yeah, he'll definitely.
I think so. Yeah, man, but people are gonna love that matchup.
This is gonna be a fun week. I mean, there are so many choices at both running back and wide receiver.
Do you just treat? I was just gonna say, is this one of those weeks where you just treat AJ Dillon and Adams like that Hendo Cooper Cup week? You just play both of them?
Yeah. Yes, and also Alvin Kamara back at practice. So that's a pretty big ripple. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I kind of hope Kamara sits because that's not like I'm overly excited to play Mark Ingram again.
You hope he plays?
Yeah. I said it reverse.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't. Mark Ingram, man. I didn't. It seemed like he wasn't going to get there, and then he just miraculously got that
touchdown.
He wasn't going to get there. All right. Let's go to FanDuel.com and make a lineup.
So I feel like, guys, I'm not gonna lie, feeling a little bit of pressure.
You feeling pressure?
I mean, people count on this now.
Are we just gonna play the chalk now?
No, I don't think we've had a good mix of chalk and kind of like low owned stack plays. Like that's been the secret to the success that we've had, I feel like.
Kitchen, is any chance the Roto Grinder single entry series is still going?
It is. It's definitely still going.
All right, then do your job.
Don't wait too late to get into the $100 because, as we know, I cashed both the first and second week $100. Then I waited a little bit too late on Sunday, and it was not available. Just a $5 and a $33. So get in there now because you can win a lot. Like you can go to the live event. You can become like your own whistle go woo big T awesomeo aspiration can become
did they get a chance to meet you at the live final, Dave? Is that part of the package?
I'm sure we could arrange that.
Lunch with Dave. I mean, I'd be firing at this.
I might
week.
Just make that, even if they don't, I might just make that an NFT. Just
you'll pay anyone to have lunch with you.
I'll include a Mooncat in there. All right. This is a big week. And listen, I feel like we can rise to the pressure. And Peter, you're going to start us off this week.
Even after starting us off on DK?
Yeah. No, I feel like you're the key to our success this week.
Wow. I really appreciate that, Dave.
People are counting on us for their cash game teams on FanDuel.
I'm going to put in one Mr. Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
And also, Davis, it's not just cash games on FanDuel anymore. We've cashed all the GPPs.
I know, it's just we enter all the cash games and all the GPPs with the same team.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, to own the libs.
That's just optimal strategy.
We just empire maker it. Just one lineup. That's all we need.
Just one lineup.
Rip it and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said Lamar?
Yeah, and I didn't do the stack because I can't have 4 picks on my lead off for both these lineups.
All right, Tuttle, will go with you.
Devin Duvernay, obviously.
I'm going to do the bring back first.
Okay.
No.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Mooney
or Komet.
Komet. I'm doing Komet.
Oh, I mean, tight ends don't even matter, if we're being honest, on FanDuel, right? People say to pay up for tight end, but what do they know?
What do they know?
Or no. Taking Komet out. David Montgomery is the bring back here. 6,800.
Oh, okay. All right.
A lot of pressure on this lineup.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm taking AJ Dillon. Every lineup I'm playing this week has
Way to
AJ
go!
Dillon in it.
Take my pick.
No one's talking about him. I'm the only one
I
touting.
thought you
AJ
were on
Dillon.
Aaron Jones.
And then I found out he was out for the second straight week. Or
I don't
no,
want to put this
Go ahead.
bad karma out there, but I gotta say it. I think we should start over.
No, why?
I don't feel good about Lamar Jackson. He's gonna miss like 3 series, shitting himself.
No, dude, this is like the 9th time this year that
no,
Lamar has
here's
missed a
the-
Wednesday practice.
Here's the thing, though.
can't-
Whenever Lamar is like relative chalk, he's just
No.
well, I guess he
he's
got
not,
there.
But he's not because he's got the Q next to his name. This is an important thing when creating lineups.
I can't believe the guy
don't
who's
feel it.
debating between Cole Kmet and David Montgomery is fudding my pick.
Yeah.
I will. David Montgomery will score better relative to his
No,
projection
we
this
can't
week than Lamar Jackson.
We can't stop. We can't start second
I
guessing
don't feel
ourselves
good about
now.
Lamar this week. I don't.
No,
Well,
Peter
maybe
picked
it-
him.
Maybe in the peace and quiet of your own home, maybe you make a little swap in your version.
All right. I'm just trying to help the team, you know. There's a lot of pressure on this lineup. David, this is like David's. I've never seen something bring this much joy to David before. And I'm
Really?
just trying to protect that.
Have you not heard about the Mooncats?
Jesus.
Okay. Oh boy.
Sotheby's, dude.
I don't like. I'm legit nervous to make a pick right now. This is
We're all nervous for you.
This is how big it is getting.
And unlike, I just wanted to be clear, there is no going back. There is no starting over. I have a hard out in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a hard out too.
Okay.
I got some
All right,
ownership
so-
projections to start doing.
I'm gonna go with Marquise Brown.
Okay.
A brave pick.
I can't believe you just picked the guy that got lapped by Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, I know. Don't you read Twitter, Dave?
He's got like over 120 air yards each and every game.
All
right,
Do you
Peter?
get points for air yards?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's do Justin Jefferson. Little correlation here with AJ Dillon.
This is actually a good team now.
It's always a good team. Except when Tuttle fuds it. All right, we got wide receiver, tight end,
I'm
flex,
scared.
and defense. Davis?
I guess we need a cheaper tight end. And I will go ahead and do
Ertz?
Zach Ertz. Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
Hitchin skipped me because he didn't want me contributing to this
Tuttle?
team. apparently.
Tuttle? Tuttle, are you done with the FUD?
Give us a defense to pencil in first so we can see what we're working with
Okay.
monetarily.
All right, I'll give you a defense. Just gonna
Washington football team.
they're
They're gonna rally around Chase Young. They're gonna do
Okay.
it for Chase
Scam.
Young.
yeah, all right, we can do that. Or
Davis pretends like he doesn't know defensive players, but Davis knows
Let's-
so many defensive players.
Let's go with Cincinnati. Washington just lost Chase Young, so
Who is Cincinnati going to rally behind, Dave? Who
Yeah,
is
there's
picking
no-
up morale?
There's no
in this
rally
locker
point
room?
here.
no, I'm going with fresh legs against this terrible Las Vegas team who's just nothing to play for. They're demoralized.
Okay. I needed a narrative and you delivered.
Yeah, coming off a bye week. Let's go.
God, this team's gonna lose. I'm sorry. We got.
Oh my
My
gosh,
God.
Tuttle.
It's funny it so
I just
hard.
feel
All right.
so much pressure
So
because
we've got
we
7,000
got Zach
left.
Ertz, Cincinnati defense, and Lamar Jackson on this team. I feel
I
so
can't
much
believe
pressure.
you're mentioning Lamar Jackson as just being a risky
He's
pick.
gonna disappoint. He's not risky. He's not gonna top 20 this week, though.
This is
I'm
an
scared.
emotional hedge. This is an emotional hedge by Tuttle. That's the only explanation. All right, 14K for 2 players, wide receiver and flex. Tuttle, go.
We're
Land
gonna
the
go. Let's waddle with it.
Oh,
I think that's fine.
Do we want itty exposure to the Dallas KC game?
There's 2 pretty obvious plays if we do.
Right. Yeah.
Amari?
or Travis
or
Kelce.
Kelce.
I think for the spiritual history of the show, I think Average Amari is probably the guy.
Average Amari in the flex.
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry, guys.
I feel like Waddle is the piece that is dooming us in this.
Why do you even
He's
watch
60
the games, Dave?
He's 6,700, and like on FanDuel, Davis, I know you don't play a lot on FanDuel, but like you can just go up a little bit more and get some primo players. Like
I'm going the other way from all of you guys. I'm not fudding this. I think this is a good lineup. And I expect the people to play it in all of their tournaments as their exclusive lineup, and not even to check it on Sunday. You check on Monday and you just see the balance go burr.
Gen Wealth. Up
Okay, hold
late.
up. Can I make an executive call?
you can make your own executive call.
I want to make this executive call over the last two pieces.
Okay.
So that includes Waddle and Amari. I want to go back to the Jamar Chase well. I want to go back to the Jamar Chase well and play the mentor. Assuming CH is out.
No, we're not checking. We don't check.
That's the thing. No one's checking this lineup. This
Jamar,
2v2
that's what we need to get over the hump is Jamar Chase and Darrell Williams.
Okay, but then
this is scary.
Jamar Chase, Darrell Williams. All right. I was gonna go Michael Gallup and Dalvin, but
it sounds like there's all these 2v2s here, and the real question is
we'll
stick
2v2
it
ourselves. Yeah.
You're gonna stay with the original, Peter?
I got a hard out though 2 minutes ago, so
okay. All right. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase, and who was the 6,300 guy?
I want it on the record. I'm sticking with the Waddle Cooper.
Okay.
Same.
All right, I'll go with Darrell. All right.
Don't dupe me, David.
I might go Dante if I'm feeling frisky enough. Okay.
Yeah, or you could go Miles. You could go Gaskin. You could go
play
Gaskin.
Kelce. I'll play Kelce to not dupe you, Pete.
Okay.
But we're all gonna
win.
This
is gonna cash so we can screenshot it.
Yes, that's the play.
That's the play. And then say, cannot believe the generational wealth being built. All right, tight end, real quick. Lightning round tight ends, Davis.
I mean, I guess that we just got to play Komet and DK Cash, but it's terrible.
Okay, Peter, tight ends.
Yeah, there's no good cheap tight end play. I mean, the only guy that if I squint, maybe David Njoku at 2,900. I know that's pretty gross. I don't know. I feel like for tournaments, going back to the Bagel Boys, TJ Hawkinson and Gesicki might be a way to go.
Okay,
yeah.
Tuttle.
FanDuel, you probably just pay up like normal. So
yeah, but who do you pay up for? Kelce or Kittle?
No, you go down to Zach
Waller?
Ertz.
just to hammer home a great team. It's Kelce, then Andrews, then Waller, then Kittle.
Okay, and on DK,
is how I would rank the high price stuff. DK, you tell me, boots on the ground, Ferk Daddy week for 2,500.
Nah.
Swaim is running all the routes.
Yeah, Ferk.
They're both running pretty equal, but Swain got the targets last week. I think Swain ran one more.
What about Dan Arnold?
Conklin is the play actually for cheap on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Dan Arnold's 200 more. Can I interest you in some Hey Arnold?
Conklin over Arnold.
Okay. All right. Did you do a terrible take as well, Tuttle?
I'll do Quez Watkins.
Okay. Quez Watkins.
Dude.
Pringle's not terrible enough. I like it. Pringle's a good take.
Davis, final thoughts.
It's decidedly not GTL, but I'm just going to be stacking the shit out of Cowboys Chiefs because I'm in this game to have fun.
Okay. Peter, final thoughts?
I mean, if we keep running this hot on FanDuel, I think we're going to be able to buy a stadium and rename it the Swolecast Stadium.
Yeah.
Swolecast.com.
Andy's looking for his NBA team. We'll just get an NFL stadium. Yeah.
That's what we need.
The Swolecast DAO.
Okay. Tuttle, did you have any final thoughts in addition to your terrible take?
I want to apologize.
Don't.
For bringing bad energy to the FanDuel lineup.
All right. I thought you were going to apologize for Lamar Jackson. I thought you were going to apologize for Peter.
No, I apologize for bringing bad energy. I hope it cashes. I don't think it's going to. but I'm sorry for that.
That is appreciated. Last week I gave you D'Ernest Johnson. This week I'm teaming up with Davis and giving you not Aaron Jones, but AJ Dillon. Just plug him in, guys. Plug him in. Thank me later.
Kitchen's Chalk Corner? Is this a new segment?
It will be chalk.
It's kind of smart. It's kind of smart for Dave because he can still be like his name is associated with a good call. Like it is like it's kind of devilish. Like I actually think it's kind of good.
No, thanks, Davis. All right, well that will do us. That will do it for us here on the Swolecast. Thank you to producer Sosa for sticking with us, and for those that are leaving comments, giving us thumbs up. Appreciate you too. We'll see you next week, week 12. Cannot believe it's already week 12 next week. Later, Swolecast.com.